political science professor. You're qualified to answer these questions about this because people are concerned, right?
Of course.
I mean, their candidate, it's neck and neck presidential wise.
Yes.
And so when we look at the votes that are left, there are a lot of votes left, right? Pennsylvania, for example, 2 million plus votes still to be counted. Now, does the type of vote that those are, right, if those are absentee / mail-in, or if those are in-person votes, is there a partisan component to that might be able to give us some foresight into what those results look like?
I think so. I think, and when you reference the partisan component, the idea would be those people who vote, say, early or do so via absentee ballot or mail-in maybe have different partisan attitudes than those who would do face-to-face. So the idea would be if the mix, right, of votes to be counted would be something like in-person versus early, if the numbers of early votes are, if you will, larger relative to in-person, then you would maybe suggest that there would be a slight advantage to Biden. Conversely, if it were the other way, if it were in person as slightly more relative to early, then I think there's probably a partisan advantage for President Trump. And that was something that was kind of discussed last night, in particular with Pennsylvania, kind of figuring out the relative balance, right, of those different types of votes and how it plays out for both Biden and Trump.
Well, a point you made was, frankly, it's very eye-opening, right? I mean, not only what type of votes are those, but when can the state begin to count those, right? Pennsylvania can't begin counting those until those mail-in ballots until yesterday. So that indicates that in Pennsylvania, but that might not be the case in other states.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of variation across states, such that when states decide to count and what types of ballots they will count and when they do so varies quite a bit. So, and there's actually some even within state variation at the level of the county.
Right.
So I think the worry that your viewers have about the outcome, I can see why, because they want kind of a determinate decision.
Right.
But unfortunately, kind of the nature of our electoral process, because it's both state and federal, creates some delays, particularly when you have something like a pandemic that transforms how people vote from, say, in-person to early or some form of mail-in voting.
Well, you know, we look at the results right now, right? In Wisconsin, we've been watching those results come in more and more. Former Vice President Biden leading by, I think it might be less than a point right now, with 95% of the vote in from Wisconsin. So we're continuing to monitor that. I want to continue this conversation with you, but really quickly, in 30 seconds, what do you think we should be looking for in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania specifically? And is there a difference in that?
You know, I think right now it looks like, depending again on that mix, I would say there's maybe a potential benefit for Trump in Pennsylvania. Michigan, same thing. Wisconsin may, in fact, lean towards Biden. So those were some states, in particular Pennsylvania and Michigan, that Biden needed to be more competitive in order to kind of get to 270. So that mix may, in fact, play out in favor of President Trump in those two states, whereas in Wisconsin for Biden.
Right. Well, in Michigan, for example, I believe I have it here, 24,000 people registered to vote yesterday in the state of Michigan. So there's a lot to be counted.
Yes.
There's a lot going on. We're going to continue to have conversations with Doc here, and we're going to also be doing some meditation because we all could just really use it. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 after this.